Hi there, welcome to Season A, the platform where we speak truth to power. You're watching great man himself from Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, and these people are with him. And he actually is very keen to engage with the youths, and you will hear him talking to the youths. He's connecting to them to let them know that they can be him, and that he's planning and working with them about their future. He's very, very keen for us to embrace our African history, know who we are, and use that as a basis in which to propel ourselves forward. I think it's about 15, 16 minutes long there about this video. Very important. Listen. Speaking to a wide age range and really trying to communicate with them, and this is really important for us to, to share. I listened to it and it was very moving, and you will find yourself tearful in between, actually. But I wanted you to watch it yourself. Myself, I'm not fully recovered yet, so I'm not coming to a live. But I wanted us to hear this and think about what was being said and leave comments. And actually, we want every part of Africa to begin to really listen to what is said here and connect that, relate that to our own lives. The puppet leaders, they don't have any, they seem to have forgotten their roots and what has happened to us collectively. And this man is reminding us of who we are as Africans and how we can free ourselves collectively. Let's have your thoughts. Have a listen.
I was born in a village called Kera, which is located in the Muhun Valley. I spent a part of my childhood, but especially a large part, in Bombiku, which is about 15 kilometers from Kera. I didn't grow up in a wealthy family. There are many things that are difficult to understand as a child. What I need to remember, and this is an opportunity for me to thank the parents, is that at your age, it's not easy. But when I was in your place, what I remembered the most about my father was that every end of the month when I saw him with his pencil, he was calculating. Every end of the month he was calculating. And when he retired, every 3 months he was calculating. But later when I grew up, I understood what he was calculating. It's difficult when you have a salary to think about how to feed the children, how to educate them, how to take care of them, how to dress them. This is what he was calculating. So, I want to tell you that the parents care a lot about us. They fight for us, and you can't imagine how much. Many of you, when you grow up, one day you will understand. We had to grow up and pay tribute to our parents today. If there is also something that I learned from my father, there is a phrase that he always told us at home: execution before claim. Because he was also a soldier before he became a nurse. We obeyed him and we did what he asked us to do. And even if we didn't want to do it, we had to execute it first. And later we made him understand. There are a number of values that our parents instilled in us. First of all, it concerns integrity, honor, dignity. These are things that we learned from them, and that forged us, and that allowed us to be who we are today. As I said, the parents were not necessarily easy. But it was not necessary to curse them. It was not necessary to mock them, or to lie or steal. It was strictly forbidden. So there are a number of values, despite the fact that you are not necessarily easy, but you have to embody them. Solidarity, for example. We always learned to share with others. And I think there were times when we were not in a good phase. We were children. We didn't understand why the mother. You know that in the village, the children of others can spend 1 or 2 years with you to study. those who leave the smallest villages and return to the city. So when she gave us 2 cakes, maybe she gave 3 cakes to the child of the other. And we, as children, were a little jealous. Why don't you give us the same thing, to take better care of the child, to take care of his own children? She always told us that you will understand when you grow up, the day you may not be next to us. And when you grow up, you understand. And we also learn to share with others. That's what we were made for. And I, in particular, I did a lot of household chores, what we might call the tasks of girls. I helped my mother wash the dishes, to sell her baths and everything. People may have made fun of me, my classmates at school, but it was a way for me to support her. Because it's not easy to have her get up at 5 in the morning every day, to bathe, to go to school. I was the first in the recreation. I ran in the area. I helped her sell her baths. My classmates made fun of me. I helped her as best I could. That's what marked my childhood. I found myself at 14 years old, free. When I said free, I found myself all alone. Free to do what I want. But you're not a child by age. It's in the head. And from that moment on, I understood that I had to take my life seriously. Because when I say free at 14, you're free to do what you want. You have the choice. To be lazy, to stop working, to stop going to school. But also to continue to pursue, because since elementary school, we may tell you that we have always been first in class. But it's not for nothing, because Dad didn't have fun. He took all his time to teach us at home. And on the weekends, when you have a problem or an operation or a dictation that you didn't pass, you don't eat breakfast. That's how it happened. But it forged us, and it makes us the men we are today. And we want to be up to the task and pass it on to the children you are. And I think that every parent should give their best. And you too. To be grateful, and to recognize the work that parents do, to take care of us, to take care of you. That's a bit of a summary. You can say my childhood, how it happened, what we went through. Don't fight for professionals. I must say that there is one thing. Today, I am the head of state. But I was, how can I say, I did primary, secondary, university, like everyone else. But the love of being a soldier has always inhabited me. As I said, the old man was a soldier before he became a nurse. Since childhood, I have been wearing this Rangers, this heavy helmet that was at home. So, I know that he knew that I loved the job. But my mother never wanted to have a military child. And in the first year of secondary school, I did the competition of excellence. And in the second year of secondary school, my teacher wanted me to pass the British competition at all costs. But my mother opposed it fiercely. She saw the suffering of my father as a soldier. So she didn't want any of her children to be soldiers. She refused. I continued to work. I have a scientific passion. That's why I did a scientific field until university, where I was in geology. After high school, I still wanted to join the army. But my mother refused. But when she refused something, I couldn't force it. Because if you force it, it's not good. So I continued. Another year of mastery. At university, I asked her again. I told her that I wanted to join the army. I was good at geology. I could do what I wanted. I had a lot of scholarship opportunities. Because I wasn't the last of the class, but it was a year of mastery that she gave me the authorization. I did the academy test. I went to do my training. I became an officer of the army. I was convinced. If she gave me her blessing, she told me to do it this time. So I was convinced. I knew what I was doing. It's to tell you that, as I said, 14 years old, You find yourself alone in a big city. It's not easy. I was in a mixed high school, in Dakarville, for example, in high school. But I lived in Sarfalao, which is about 7 kilometers away. But I told you that I walked for a long time. In the morning and in the evening, I walked and I came back. Until maybe a friend of a big brother lent me his bike. But I believed in what I wanted. It was, how can I say, it's a conviction. What the Father taught us since childhood. As I told you, He guided us. We always wanted to be better, and we didn't give up. The goal was to always be better at school, and that's why nothing could turn us around. And the education we received, even if we didn't eat, it's not that we should be discouraged. Yes, because the 3 years, the high school, it wasn't that simple. It was a bit difficult. 1 meal a day, very often. But it doesn't matter. I cooked myself. I did everything myself. But you had to be focused on the goal. What mattered to me was that at the end of the trimester, that's it. I have to have this means, and that's it. So that's what guided use, if I may say so. Does that satisfy you, or do I have to give you some more details that have... Okay, I'll pass the floor to my colleagues for the rest of the interview. Okay. Mr. President, we see that many of our brothers and sisters are not at school because of terrorism. What do you plan to do to support and facilitate their schooling? You are perfectly right. Many have been de-schooled by force because of this phenomenon that afflicts us. I think that at this school we were able to open many schools, but we must say that our ambition is to be able to create modern schools. Modern schools in the sense that we must first create real groups, we must create all the socio-professional structures, and the school is part of it. We think every day about creating modern schools, because today there are many villages that cannot return to where people had to leave, because people are currently in certain centers. We have created a framework so that people can study, but it's not the best framework for us. So we want to bring people back to the big centers, but we want to create modern schools where children can thrive. It's not about having a classroom with a lot of staff, where the teachers have a hard time teaching. Otherwise, this already exists. We have put in place a certain number of conditions, but the objective is to build modern schools. This year, we were able to build a few schools, in some cities already. It's true that people don't have the information, but maybe soon the reports will be made. Schools were built even before the holidays, in certain centers where there were enough people. But the objective, when we bring people back to their schools, we want to create new schools where children will learn and thrive. So this process is ongoing. We have opened many schools since the start of the lockdown. Many students have resumed classes. Many closed centers have resumed classes. But we are in the process of building new modern schools so that children can study and have the same opportunities as those in non-affected areas. Your Excellency, Mr. President, we would like to know what the government is doing to guarantee the protection of children's rights and safety in Burkina Faso. I think that this is the main mission of the government. All the struggle that people are carrying out is to guarantee children's rights, if I may say so. First, the right to life, which is a right for everyone. Everyone has the right to life. So everything that we are mobilizing, everything that we are currently doing to fight this terrorism is to guarantee, first of all, the right to life. And what is the right to life? The right to the protection of children. You see, when a father takes up arms, generally to fight evil, it is not for him that he does it. It is for you, the children. If he takes up arms and faces the enemy, he is ready to die, but it is to ensure your protection. It is to protect you. So it is our duty to create these conditions so that men can fight, but to ensure the protection of the children you are. Today, we are living in a situation, but we hope that your lives will be better than ours. Those who do not have the right to a certain number of privileges will have this right tomorrow, because we are convinced that this condition can be renewed anyway. So we have to fight this evil to ensure your right to life, which is the elementary right, to ensure your protection, but also so that you can fulfill your duties, because there is not only the right. I think you know it well. The right is the duty. As much as we ensure your rights, we put everything in place so that you can express and do your duties. So it is the government's primary task to put everything in place so that you can grow up and educate you in fairly serene conditions. Okay? Did I answer your question? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Mr. President, we see that there are many children living with a disability who are not educated due to a lack of suitable schools or because their parents do not have enough money. What can you do to solve this problem? You are absolutely right. We have also built the same schools. And as you said, we have often noticed that we have not paid much attention to this issue for some time. We have built schools where, for example, for those with motor disabilities, we had not planned just the ramps to allow them to access the school and all that, but I think these are things that are currently being fixed. And as I was telling you earlier, we are trying to build modern schools. For example, for those with motor disabilities, they will have their elementary rights that can be respected in these kinds of schools. For those with visual disabilities, I think the arm is developing. So there are many factors that we are studying to integrate into these modern schools that I am talking about. We have to take into account the children with disabilities so that they do not find themselves on the margins. And those who do not have the means, we have to make the school free. There are many countries where education is free. Here it is possible. It is possible because we have spent time making us understand that we are poor, but we are not poor. Governance is the problem, and I think this is why we are rebelling and we are putting everything into action to create the conditions so that you cannot ask the children with disabilities if they do not have the means. Education must be a right. It is a right, and it must be a reality, and it must be free. The dream is to make it happen. Many countries are doing it today. Why in Burkina Faso we could not do it? So our fight is to be able to give free education so that there is no question of means, and to put all the conditions so that whether you live with a disability or not, you can benefit from education. You can be assured of that. Thank you.
Now that you've watched it and you've seen it, it would be great to hear your thoughts and comments and suggestions and things. Hopefully I'll be back soon. I'm not fully recovered. I'm still good. It's taken a while, but I'm improving, but it's not fully there yet. But I'll get there slowly. But for now, let's have your thoughts. You're of course listening to Citizen Air, the platform where we speak truth to power about the show. Thank you. Bye for now. Thank you. Bye for now.